So today I am beyond excited because I am not just doing any old podcast. I've got two of my friends with me. How are you, Yvonne Maher and Marie Hickey?
Great, Jenny. I can't believe you got us up here, but we're here. Yeah.
Well, why are you here? Well, obviously you're doing the podcast, but my book has been launched tonight.
Yes,
can't wait to see it.
Unbelievable. I don't know how you got the time to do this.
Honestly.
We've been talking about a book for years and we'd never be arsed to sit down and actually do it. You actually done it.
I actually did it, but I had been talking about doing it for years and years, but sure, I had no feckin' time to do it.
It's so much time.
When you think about the weddings, we all do at the weekends, and then I have a studio, so I photograph newborn babies every other day, and I have a Wedding Tip Wednesday podcast, and I do all other stuff too. I didn't get time, but when we went into that last lockdown after COVID or during COVID, I went, I can't sit down and do nothing anymore. I can't.
You're not able to.
And I started it then, and I thought, sure, look, I'll have this done in a month. And here I am 2.5 years later.
Oh my
well,
God.
Well, that's it, because you have so many ideas and we're around the business so long. And it's actually trying to narrow down what'll go in the book and what's important and what's not important.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the hardest part. I bet that's what you found when you sat down first.
Well, I suppose I wanted, a couple from the time they get engaged to the time they do their first dance on the night of their wedding to know everything that they have to know.
Yes.
Because you girls know there's so much that happens at weddings.
Oh my God.
But see, we take it for granted because we're doing it so long that people know what to do.
Yeah.
But it's all that information they want to know.
Yeah. Well, you see, this is it. And you know.
But sometimes you better not know.
It's
like having a baby. So glad I didn't know about that.
Well, you thought you were just going to go in and sneeze it out.
Well, I did get a blow dry before I went in.
Jesus, Yvonne, I thought you were going to say something else there. But anyway, so you're doing my hair and makeup tonight for my book.
Yes.
Thank you. Yvonne, I'm going to start with you.
Great.
How great? She's like, what you going to ask me? Did you, and I've never asked you this before, did you always want to be a makeup artist or how did you even get into it 10 years ago?
It's so funny because, 10 years ago. When I was in secondary school, we didn't have social media or blogs or anything like that. You got magazines. And you kind of pay a subscription maybe once a month. And I remember getting this makeup magazine, and I don't know, did I pay $2.50 a month or something for it?
Yeah.
£2.50.
Not 2 shillings.
And you'd wait every month. It'd send you the magazine, and in it might be like an eyelash curler or all the little bits that you wouldn't get.
Yeah.
So I used to always have that, and then for my devs and my devs and my friends' devs, say the 2 years, 5th and 6th year, I would have done all the makeups for my friends.
Wow.
Poorly, right? with silver eyeshadow or whatever was in at the time. But I was better than them, so that was good.
Yeah.
So I always had an interest in colour, and art was a massive thing for me. I would have done a portfolio for my Leaving Cert to get into art college, and that's where I was thinking of going, is art and design. And then I was very young doing my Leaving Cert. I was 16, just barely going on 17. Yeah. And I took a year out and I went to London for a year. And then I came back and I was going to start art college.
Yeah.
And so I came to Dublin, got a job with Chanel in, at the time, Jervis Centre.
Wow, Chanel.
Yeah, and it was just, I didn't even think about only that I love makeup and that'd be a fabulous job.
Oh my God.
But I was with them probably about 2 or 3 months, and they were looking for a makeup artist to train in Ireland, because they didn't have that many at the time.
Right.
So it meant that we go to Paris, we get trained up, the whole lot. So that's how my introduction then. So then I left art college and I done this full time then. And I just slowly went on to beauty therapy. I done film and theatrical makeup. I just kept adding to it and adding to it.
Yeah. Because there's so much more to what you do than just wedding makeup.
Well, there is, it's just because I'm down the country, and when I was living in Dublin, I used to use a lot more of the film and theatre side.
Yes.
But when you move home, it's not as, it's a lot of travelling if I wanted to keep that up.
Yeah.
But I still dip in and dip out. It's lovely to have. And I'm still up 2 years ago, I went back and retrained and, done my film and theatrical, done ball caps, done prosthetic pieces, everything else. So,
wow.
You're
so
adding.
Talented, Yvonne.
Well, it's a love, I think, as well.
Yeah. And then Marie, how are you?
Good.
And come here to me. So, like, same question. Did you always want to be a hairdresser?
No, actually, I wanted to be a primary school teacher. What? But I couldn't sing.
But I actually think that you'd make a very good primary school teacher.
Oh, I don't know. This time of the year, I'm always sorry I didn't because I'd have all the holidays off. At the time back then, you had to do an interview singing as well. So you had to sing a song in English and in Irish. What? Oh, it was the most embarrassing moment you'd have
Oh, I'd love that. I'd pay for that video now.
Yeah, so unfortunately I didn't get it. So
I've never heard you sing.
No, yeah.
Go on,
Yeah.
Give us an
maybe later. So while I was waiting for that job came up here, and my father actually had said, to try it. So I said, for summer job anyway, I'd start.
Yeah.
And when I didn't get the teaching, I just continued with hairdressing and I loved it.
Yeah.
So I trained for 4 years and then I opened my own salon and I had that for a few years. Wow. And then I joined.
You've got to qualify soon, aren't you?
Someday.
Yeah.
So then I joined Wella and I was a colour technician with them for a few years and I loved it. It was travelling a lot, but it's a job for when you're single.
Yeah.
So then I came back and I wasn't sure what I'd do. Would I open up a salon or what? And then the wedding industry, I always loved tying up hair and doing upstyles and everything like for weddings. So nobody at the time was doing it at home or in the house or in the venue.
Yeah.
So we kind of started up doing it and there was very few at the time doing it.
Yeah.
So then that's where I met Yvonne.
Oh, tell us. I am, because do you know what? I love. Obviously, you're my pals. So when I hear that the two of you are doing the hair and makeup in the morning, I'm thinking, oh my God. First of all, the atmosphere from first things. So when you arrive is going to be like, and then I come along and all hell breaks loose. In a good way.
In a good way.
But tell me how the two of you met.
Like, it's so weird because it was a good friend of mine, Kathy Power, was getting married. And Kathy had booked you and she'd given me her name that she'd booked. And I was like, God, never heard her. She must have been kind of stuck. From Tipperary.
Coming into Kilkenny County.
Yeah, Jesus, Kathy. Is there anyone else? But anyway, so I was going to the wedding. So it's really hard for us going to a wedding because you literally need to get ready at 6 o'clock in the
starting to
morning.
make excuses now. So I was there first in the room and Yvonne came in and she needed her own room, her own space because she was a diva back then. No. So so we met that way. It didn't have anything to do with me.
What do you mean back then?
Back then, yeah. And if anyone knows me, I'm the most neediest person. I can't bear it to be in the separate room.
Oh,
if somebody tries to separate us, I'm like, oh my God, there's crack going on in that room and I'm not near it. I can't bear it. But this day, I was too busy. I had loads of bridesmaids and they're friends. So when it's somebody very close to you, you kind of you put, not that I don't put everything into it, but you're more. It's
more pressure.
It's more
of course
pressure.
It is. Yeah.
So I looked into Marie, but she wasn't giving me any eyes back. She was in the sitting room, and
she didn't even look once, Jenny.
God. And she didn't even say hello. And I was like, that one in there, typical tip woman.
Yeah. So after I got the notions out of her, we met the next time and we went for a coffee in Kilkenny.
Well, I didn't remember you the next wedding. Do you remember? And you said to me, oh, I worked with you before. And I said, no way. And I said, I don't remember. You're the Kathy Power's wedding. And I was like, oh, that was the one. Yeah. So you were so lovely.
You just said to me a few minutes ago before we came on air that you're brilliant at pretending you know people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you told her that you didn't remember.
But anyway, we had good crack that day, didn't we?
Yeah. And you've been pals ever since.
Yeah. And so it's been great.
Would you do most of your weddings together? Or
it's really
does
mixed.
It change?
There's so many. We do a lot of weddings together, but no, it's
the wedding industry, as you know, has exploded. There's so many out there now.
Yes.
So unfortunately, don't work as what we would have liked as much.
And I'm Kilkenny and you are Tip, so we're kind of slightly different, you know.
Yes.
But we still do. A lot.
But we have great crack and banter together because we can slag each other off.
I have to say this out because I only recommend people that I think are amazing. Guys, if you're out there and you're looking for hair and makeup, book these two. They're I mean, I have to do my hair and makeup tonight and it's such a special night for me. And you've come all the way up from Kilkenny.
I know.
And Tip, thank you so much.
I think we took the scenic way up.
Yeah. Well, Marie was on Google Maps. It was a disaster. Marie won't drive to Dublin. No. So she was stressed with me
I feel
driving.
very special.
I know.
The country bumpkin is going
up. Yeah, I'm laughing.
So
I know Dublin fairly well, but because the traffic was so bad this morning, I left her the Google Maps to bring us a different way around. And she was like, oh, no, we should have taken left there. No, we should. Oh no, we're 9 minutes behind now. It's like, oh my God, give it to me.
So tell me then about, I always talk about over expectations when it comes to weddings. So I'm very, very straight. So I'm going to ask you a few questions that you might not like. Are there over expectations, do you think, sometimes? You know, if somebody shows you a picture of Kim Kardashian and they look nothing like her.
We were talking about that on the way up. Like things have changed so much since we started doing this 20 years ago. And the biggest thing is social media.
Yes.
And it's instant. There was none of that back in our day.
It's terrible pressure.
It's pressure, and it's brides putting pressure that it has to be Instagrammable and it has to be picture perfect. But you've seen the brides that are more relaxed and chilled are the ones who enjoy it more.
Yes.
And they'll get the nicer photographs. They'll get everything, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just if they get more worked up over something. And again, the expectations being unrealistic.
Yeah.
And it is the photographs. And it's like looking through photographs and so, I want to look like her. And it's like, okay, you need to break it down.
Yeah.
You know,
you don't look like her.
You don't look like her. Have you got that hair shape?
Yeah.
You know, what it is. And it's just breaking it down.
Yes.
And even like that, it's even bridesmaids as well. It's showing you pictures and you're like, oh God.
Yeah, this is not going to happen for you, Pat.
Yeah,
I know.
it's
And for
not.
me now, and I've actually had to put it in my my trial information, is that I always ask them to bring a picture of themselves that they love.
Yes.
So it gives me a good idea of what kind of makeup they like.
That's
you know,
such a good idea, Yvonne.
But lately I've had to add an extra thing to it. Can you bring an unfiltered photo of yourself that you love?
Brilliant.
Because what's happening is they're giving me pictures, they're completely filtered. And they mightn't even know sometimes because they have it on automatic on the camera.
But come here now, I tell you. Yes, they fucking do know.
But I mean, we are makeup artists, but I can't filter your face.
No.
You know, we can do a certain amount. So,
yeah.
and I've had that where I've said to one girl, "Have you that picture unfiltered?" And she's like, "No, that's not. That is me." And I'm like, "No, that's definitely filtered."
Yeah.
Like she'd no nose in it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm so sorry if you know who that is. But it is. I actually think a lot of the generation are so used to seeing themselves now with a filter, they don't know what they look like without it.
I know.
And that's becoming a bit of an issue.
And it is a problem. It definitely is.
Yeah, and it must be for you as well, photography-wise.
The thing is, my work is my work, you know, and obviously I do an amazing job every time. But afterwards, they get professionally colour corrected.
Yes.
And they get softened slightly. Am I going to retouch lines out of your face?
Yes.
But when you think about like the photos, so, you know, a couple could be seeing 600 or 700 photos of, you know, of their wedding. Now, they're not going to be in every single one of those because some of them are going to be guests. But you're after having your makeup professionally applied on the morning and you have had your hair professionally styled. And I'm going to have them professionally colour corrected and softened slightly. And you're going to look at $1 million. You're not going to look like you've had 55 filters put on you on Instagram because that's not real.
Yeah.
You know?
No, it's true.
And in fairness, like I don't ever get any complaints about them except for one time in the last few years where I had a bride who wasn't happy with her roots on her head inside. So when you're taking a photograph of somebody inside, now they're facing the light.
Yeah.
You know, there's a roof.
Yeah.
So her head is going to be darker. Her roots are going to be darker. You take her outside and the sky is there and it's going to brighten up her hair. And she'd an issue with that. And I had to explain to her, those are very differently lit. We were outside for one scenario and inside. Now I can retouch your roots to make them look different than they were. But that's actually what they did look like inside. So thankfully I don't get that. But I would imagine that hair and makeup, well, especially makeup does, Yvonne.
Yeah, like, you know, we've all used the Paris filter, like, you know, and it just does.
No, well, I don't use it. Swipe left.
But, yeah. But look, it is just something to be more aware of. And to be fair, like most people are, you know, they know exactly. Do you know what I mean? So it's just a few.
But when you show them their makeup on the morning of the wedding and you show them their hair, they're unbelievably delighted.
And you can't explain it because in the trial, when they come to me, you know, you're not the most groomed that you're going to be on the day. So
exactly.
You might be leaving the eyebrows grow, they're not tinted. You might be waiting to get lashes done, you've no tan on, or you might have a small bit, you're still in the middle of your skincare routine.
Yes.
The hair mightn't be finished.
Yeah.
So I always say to them, it's so important just... If you like it on the trial, you will love it on the day.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So that's the key. So just don't, on the day of the trial, don't put everything into it because you have the hair, you have the jewellery, you have the dress, you have everything.
The trial
else.
is definitely the hardest.
Yeah.
And even like that for hair, because I would allow an hour and a half for a trial. but I would go through all different options for them. So they're all roughly done. So I can fit everything in and show them all the options. And then they can go away and think about it. So when they try on their dress the next time, then they have a better vision of how they're going to look.
Amazing.
But then some brides might think, oh, they want to go away from the trial with their wedding day hair. But like, you don't have all the hours.
You didn't do all the.
You don't have the time that you would do. So you kind of have to trust the person you're booking.
Yes.
And that's the hardest thing.
Yeah. That's very important.
Yeah,
now,
so
that's
important.
Such a good point, Marie, because you do have to trust the hair person.
Yeah. And even things like veils as well is a huge thing. So they might come in with pictures if they do want it up, for example.
Yeah.
And a very soft, relaxed updo, which is fabulous. But you put a veil on it, you're going to hide it.
Yeah.
So the front of the face. So when you're looking at pictures, the front of the face is what you need to look at for hairstyles, especially if you're wearing a veil.
Yeah.
Because it will cover your hairstyle.
Yeah.
And then brides will say, well, sure, I'm not wearing my veil all day. I'll say, okay, until what time? And they'll say, until the mealtime. Yeah. But at that stage, all your photographs are taken.
Absolutely.
So you need to know the look that you're having. So I'd often say, wait to have your veil on. Buy a veil if you're deciding a veil until after the trial.
Yes.
And then you can say, because even the position of where you put the veil, if you want to go up higher or lower, it'll all determine your hairstyle.
And like, for example, and I can give me as an example here, I had my hair put up. I've said this 150 times before, so if you haven't heard me, this is a good point. On my wedding day, and the style was fabulous, but Jesus, I looked like Hilda Ogden, I think, when I look back at the photos.
You didn't feel like yourself?
No, because I never wear my hair up.
Yeah, well, that's what I would say. Don't wear it up. If it's not, it doesn't say, oh, I have to wear it up for my wedding day. Now that's gone anyway. Now people are wearing it more down. Wear it more comfortable. Yes, you have to be complimenting yourself and the dress.
Yeah.
But often like I'd offer a service sometimes where brides can change their look later.
I love that service, Marie. Yeah. I love that, where you stay later.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Because especially if they like to have the wear it down for the day.
Yeah.
Because you know yourself, while it's perfect when you're leaving, but like you're outside then in the church, you're meeting people, you've probably 150 people on average, then hugging you after the...
Now, hang on. I tell them not to do that meet and greet.
Good. Because it is. You do get destroyed with your hair and makeup.
But it takes up so much time.
It is an hour or more, isn't it, you're allowing?
Oh, like, I mean, you're... Like, it's definitely 45 minutes outside the church. Like, from the time you walk down the aisle, shake everyone's hands, Auntie Moore is leaving her red lipstick all over your face, and the groom is destroyed. And then they come out and then they're chatting, and I'm thinking, I would have had all my photos done in that time. Back
and they miss out then on drinks reception.
And they miss out on their drinks reception. So I always suggest, and actually, even since COVID, more and more people are not doing that meet and greet. Now look, Marie, there's some times where, you know, you're down the country and it's the done thing and mom and dad want to do it, and that's very rude to go off. And I get that too, but I'll do whatever I can to make sure they don't do the meet and greet. But that is such a good service that you provide. So it's obviously an additional service.
Yes, but it's like that for, if you are wearing your hair down, you have to be realistic as well.
Yes.
If I'm not there, your hairstylist isn't with you for a day, you just have to make sure you mind it.
Yes.
You know, it's not a wig on sitting on your head. It's going to move. It's here. So just to fix it for the photographs and adjust it.
And Irish weather. You just don't know what. Like, look at the weather the last day. 1 minute you're at sun yourself.
And that's it.
You know.
Don't even talk to me.
And like if you're going for photographs by a beach or somewhere,
by a beach. So here's the one thing.
The lovely windswept photographs, but your hair's destroyed.
You're after getting the lovely long Hollywood waves, and then she wants to go to the beach and she looks like Wurzel Gummidge afterwards.
Yes.
Like, you have to mind your hair.
Or driving an open top car.
Why? I don't get it. I'm like,
I actually was with you one time and you actually cried because as they drove off, the hair literally stood at the top of her head.
I was trying to say, please
the
don't.
wind caught under her and just went
why?
Why?
Yeah. Like, you're going to absolutely ruin your hair. And you see, these are the things that they don't think about in advance. They just think, oh, the car.
Well, they see a picture and they think, wouldn't that be a fabulous picture?
Yeah.
And we'll get that picture. It's like getting on a horse or, you know, going off in the car. And yes, they are beautiful pictures, but there are sometimes they come with this, you know.
Come here. Speaking of pictures, I got shown this picture before, and I was like, I am never. If anyone ever asks me to do that, I'm not doing it. And I was down the country again, and it was obviously a farmer. I love going down the country. I go down the country all the time.
They do love you as well. Like,
I love
when they see you coming in, you're like a celebrity coming in. And to be fair to you,
I love it.
You are so personable to them. Like, you just come in and you're sitting having coffee with the dad who's after milking the cows. And
I love
it's just
it.
Lovely, yeah.
But it was so funny. So I'd seen this picture of bales of hay and a couple on top of them. I was like, Jesus, that's mortifying. I'm never doing that. And next of all, I get to the church and there's like bales of hay all lined up.
That's a country thing.
And they got the bride and groom right
to
up.
the top.
like they were standing on the top of a cake, and I'm thinking, if anyone sees me doing this, but actually the photo was lovely.
No, I don't. I think that's okay.
That's because you're from Kilkenny and you're from different. There's no hay up here. But you know what? I actually love getting outside Dublin to do weddings, and I love going down the country, and you get a cup of tea going in the door, and I'm not Dublin mammies are lovely.
No, and it's so funny because when I do a proper Dublin wedding, I'm always in stitches. They're crazy. They're so funny, and they have all the old sayings. They come out with all this really old Irish sayings.
But then you go down the country and it's like sucking diesel and it's all that kind of stuff.
I think it's so different.
Yeah, it's all the traditions.
But we'd even see a massive difference in county to county. Yeah, like it's unbelievable the difference. Yeah. Like if you go to Kilkenny, they're calmer. It's definitely a calmer wedding. You go
to you hear her?
Do you hear that? You go to Waterford and it's mental from the minute you walk in. It's like get the plaza out, come on, boy. You know, there's everything, isn't it? Yeah. Like there's totally different.
Do you know it's funny, and if my husband is listening to this, he'll divorce me later. But GAA is a big thing down the country. Yes, you know. So Martin is the biggest, nuttiest Dublin fan I've ever met in my life. And in fairness, he was brought up loving GAA, and his poor dad, God rest him, kind of instilled it into them. But when I go outside Dublin, and if I'm in Kilkenny, it doesn't matter where I am. Like and their county are playing that day.
Oh my God!
I'm up for them.
Yeah,
because well, I'm sorry, Martin. You know, I know I'd be killed, but that's where I am, and they're the people I'm surrounded by, and their passion is as passionate as Martin's. So,
like if there's a wedding on a big Kilkenny match day, like at the meal there'll be massive screens brought in. I'm sure you've seen it.
I see it all.
Yeah.
Well, the weddings are worked around matches.
Oh, it's worked around it.
But come here to me. I have to tell you something about a hotel in Kilkenny. I won't mention the hotel, but I was doing a wedding there, and Dublin were playing Kerry. Was it Kerry they were playing? Yeah. And actually, that's the one thing. Here I am talking about Jay and not hair and makeup. But like, it's almost like the whole country are up for whoever else is playing the dubs.
Oh, it is. Once their own places. Yeah.
I didn't care. So I'm kind of there and I'm photographing everybody sitting around the tables. And there was one table and they gave me the biggest amount of abuse. There was two farmers sitting at the table and they were vulgar to me and about Dublin and Kerry. And I was like, I don't care. I'm just doing my job today, you know? Anyway, Dublin won that day, so I was delighted. Anyhow, so like it just is lovely to get outside Dublin and travel around. Yeah. So, Yvonne, you have done lots of weddings in other countries.
Yes.
And you know, there's so many people are going away to get married now.
And I got married away as well.
And you got married.
I have good experience.
So how the hell do you keep the makeup from rolling off your face when you're away?
Oh, well, there's a lot of priming and it's actually less makeup. So you're generally, if people go away, they have a nice base, a nice tan base.
Right.
Because they're there the week before or the few weeks before, whatever.
What if you don't like tanning your face now?
Like
me.
It doesn't matter, but I'll work around whatever. But generally there is a good base there. And you just use a lot less. You're not going to go on with what you normally would. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's too heavy, is it?
And I'm with you for the whole day. So
God.
You have to.
Sorry, do you provide service the whole day?
For the whole day.
When you go away?
She gate crashes the wedding.
You
don't want together.
Well, up to the meal. And then
she likes the wine.
Yeah. But our second wedding abroad we done together, didn't we? Oh my God, it's hilarious. There's one thing I will tell you is if you're booking holidays, don't find out when Maria's going and don't book that week. It's always raining, right?
Yeah, I'm off this week, by the way. Yeah. Sunday,
always.
First day off.
I laugh every time she's on a week holidays.
Yeah.
Wow.
Jinxed.
And because, actually, that's another story I'll tell you. When you're off, and you're probably similar, when you're working in this industry, your biggest fear is that you've forgotten about a wedding. So when you're off, on a Saturday, you wake up mentally thinking, I'm definitely off. I'm definitely off. And you're like, I'll check my calendar. I'll check my... No, okay, I'm off.
What if it's not in the calendar?
Yeah, I know.
Has that ever happened?
Oh,
God, touch.
Okay, maybe.
The
wrong day. The wrong day. It was American wedding and...
not in America?
No, they were American bride. So I never met them before. A very small wedding. And I had it in for just a Tuesday, which is a random day for a wedding as well. We wouldn't do many Tuesdays.
No.
And thank God there was only two in the wedding party, and it was very close to me because the wedding planner that morning is like, "Hi, Yvonne, just wondering, are you on your way?" And I was sitting at home having a coffee thinking, where should I be?
Did you say that to her?
No, yeah, well, I know her well, so it was fine. And she was like, no, this is just the bride is here. And I was like, honestly, I don't remember the drive to the venue. Do not remember. Now, we'd loads of time. She wasn't getting married till 3:30. She knew I was late.
Did she know that you forgot though?
Well, I told her when I got down.
Away.
Why?
No, I did, because I couldn't lie about that because I was late. But I turned up, done it. We'd loads of time. Everything worked out. But thank God. I said, that put fear of God in me for life.
I think I would have had to lie there. I don't ever
Made
lie.
a story.
Oh, Jesus Christ. But she was okay about it.
She was okay. But when I was going back, Marie was off for this week anyway, and she was all excited. It was a really busy time. And on the Saturday morning, you went off up to Westport.
Yeah.
And I rang her and said, hi, Marie, just at the wedding, are you on your way?
She's mean, isn't she?
That didn't happen.
No, but anyway, so
she was making this up.
Oh
my
God.
And Marie's like, what
You're
do you mean?
a bitch.
I'm
Yeah,
on my
isn't
holidays.
she?
And then she got her husband to ring me, and Mickey's like, what wedding you at? And I said, the wedding, Kilkenny, we're here, where they're waiting for you. What do we do? Are you not on the way? Blah, blah, blah. And she was like, oh my, I won't tell you what she actually said. But
Marie.
She's so mean,
I
isn't
don't
she?
let you forget me for
What were you
ages.
like? Did you nearly swallow
Oh
your
my
tongue?
God. It is, because like every Saturday, like if you
It is
are
that
off,
fear, isn't it?
it's that fear. You're going,
Yeah.
oh my God.
So can I ask you girls, because let's be realistic here. Has there ever been a time where, something has happened in your life where you just couldn't do the wedding? Has that ever happened?
Like, it has
Once
you.
for me, I was
Yeah.
sick. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
ended up in hospital.
Yeah.
But I got cover for someone.
Yeah.
I had 2 brides that weekend. One was lovely and the other was not nice.
Yeah.
No.
But
And isn't that funny that you should say one was lovely and one was not?
Yeah.
And you were sick.
yeah, I was
She
in
was
hospital.
actually in hospital, and
Yeah.
we were ringing, I was in a panic for you because I know what it's like, and
Yeah.
you just want to get cover last
Yeah.
minute.
Yeah, and I got cover and
And
everything's
you even
fine.
organised a trial. You managed to fit in a trial and cover.
Yeah.
And that
And she
probably
wasn't-
was, what was,
Yeah,
did
she,
you
What did
say?
she
she
say?
wasn't very nice.
Tell
Anyway,
me.
yeah,
No.
yeah.
Tell me, what did she say, Marie?
And she wasn't very nice. And then even like that, she phoned me when she came back from her honeymoon, even given out to me that I didn't turn up. She said she wouldn't have booked me if she knew I wouldn't be there.
And
It's
did
like
you
going,
say I was in hospital?
I was in hospital.
Okay. Well, she will have no luck,
No.
darling.
Yeah.
But you know what, Jenny, when we deal with the public, and
Yeah.
anyone who deals with the public, 99% of them
Will
are
have
Are
gorgeous.
lovely.
You'll
Are
always
lovely.
have the one in whatever industry you have.
Yes.
But the majority of we are blessed. We were
We
saying
are.
that coming up.
Yeah.
It's lovely to be part of someone's day.
And has that
the
ever
morning is so
happened?
important.
you?
No, because I'm unbelievable.
So you crawl out the hospital
I crawl
bed.
out
would
the
you?
bed.
Oh,
What
you're
done
she's
that.
so
Yeah.
good.
She's
yeah.
a martyr.
She just
isn't
moans to me then when I get there.
But I have been really sick, and like you can't be sick. You
Yeah.
can't be unwell. There's times where I've literally been out the back vomiting and come back in. Like
Yeah.
Wow.
you
There is
just
days,
don't.
yeah.
You can't.
You have
to.
You have to be there. Like
Yeah.
it's really, unless there's a limb hanging or you're
Yeah.
a drip on you, you can't
Yes.
really cancel.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah.
You just don't.
Well, no, we wouldn't cancel unless
Yeah.
there was a limb hanging or,
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
all I suppose
Which
the
is
point,
the hard part of our job.
Yeah.
Because
And they've
you
booked so
have
far in
that
advance.
fear
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
that I'm not going. Time of COVID, my
Yes.
biggest fear was that I'm going to get COVID.
Yeah.
Not that I'm going to be sick and
And
you
did
know,
you get
no,
COVID?
how I didn't get it.
Yeah.
No, I told you I'm amazing.
You could have.
But,
Jesus Christ. If she was a bar of chocolate, she'd feckin' eat herself.
and everyone around me got it, and I was
But
convinced.
you
I'd
could have
get
got it and you didn't know.
Well, maybe exactly.
Yeah.
I could have been.
Good, she's
She
great.
just, she just wouldn't complain, Yvonne.
God, don't be asking me any of them questions, Jenny.
No, but I know I was initially a close contact. So you remember the early days of close
Yeah.
contact, did cancel within everything in 2 weeks. So there was weddings I did have to cancel.
Right.
But to be fair, everybody understood.
Ah, yeah.
They didn't want you coming near them anyway.
No, they
if
didn't.
you're any chance.
I actually got COVID at a wedding. So I
Yeah.
did. Yeah.
But I was at a wedding and everyone got COVID at it except me. I couldn't believe it. I was waiting every day doing the test. Thinking, please, yeah. Please on, I'm ready.
So tell me then, skincare.
Yes.
Like, what's the crack with that?
Oh,
And-
you see, so I am a beauty therapist as well. So over the
Oh.
years, but I was a working beauty therapist, so I thought I knew everything about skin for a long time. But in the last, I suppose, particularly 5 or 6 years, it's gone so advanced.
yeah.
It's even really hard to recommend products now. You need to go to a specialist now.
Yeah.
You need to go to somebody who is, because there's so many peels and microneedling and, there's so many things now.
Microneedling. I've never had that done.
And they're all fabulous, but I don't know enough about any of them to recommend what you need.
So in advance of your wedding makeup,
I will so I will tell you definitely go. I'll know once I see your trial how your skin is.
Yes.
So some people are fine in what they're doing and maybe, little boosters, and then some people might need a bit more help.
But how far in advance is the trial to the wedding?
It depends. Roughly it depends on where the person is, but I say for the summer, I will do trials January, February, March.
Right.
So a good 3 months before.
Would they not need longer than that then to kind of take care of the skin?
Yeah, but at that stage, a lot of people don't.
Right.
They're just
doing
whatever they're doing. So at that stage, I'll be able to say, okay, this is what you need now. You need, this. But a lot of people at that stage have done most of the stuff.
Brilliant.
Really,
and then Marie, hair then. What's the crack? Like, do you recommend specific products? Because I was talking to Claire.
Did you see her hair?
I love her hair. Leave her alone, you. I love Marie. And tell me, because Claire, who owns that company, Trua, she had lost her hair and because she got alopecia, and now she has this amazing company, and she talks about your scalp being your skin.
Absolutely.
And I never thought of that before, but Jesus, and she was saying, when your hair grows out of your scalp, it's dead. Here. So what do you do? What products or what should you be doing to look after
it's
that?
like skincare. Everybody's different. And I think definitely after COVID, with COVID and more stressful lives, hair has got definitely... People have thinner hair. Yeah. And that's, I'm seen it as a huge problem.
Really?
Yeah. So it's just, again, everyone's different and it's using the right products. And again, there's so many products on the market.
So what do you do?
You don't need everything.
I have a few extensions in mine because I lost a bit of my hair last year. Yeah, I do now, yeah.
But you have the clip-ins, which are great.
Well, I have them as well. You'll be using them tonight.
Yes, the clip-ins are great to add the volume.
But, what can you use if your hair is thinning? Is there anything?
But again, it depends on what stage it's at. So if it's just starting to thin, or if you are worried about it, you definitely would go to the doctor, get your bloods done. Yeah. Because it could be other underlying thyroid problems or different issues.
Right.
If all that is clear and it's fine, I definitely would recommend going to a trichologist if you are worried about it.
Right.
So they specialise in that area.
Okay.
So it's going to someone that will give you the advice. And again, it's all very personal.
Yes.
What suits you, because what suits you might suit somebody else.
Absolutely.
So it's just getting the right advice
but
from somebody.
It is really, if you have extensions in the bonds, to maybe mind them and take them out in time and they're not matte. I've seen it.
I do see a lot, I'll have really fine hair on top and then a head of bonds. And it is harder to do that here. Yeah. Because again, if you want to up it, trying to hide all the bonds.
Absolutely.
So it's just to be careful.
Like them all on Love Island. None of them have their own hair.
No.
Cheek of them.
Yeah.
Anyway, so in terms of shine and stuff, do you recommend products?
Definitely, yeah. Your conditioning, again, Olaplex is fantastic. If
you gave me, that is an amazing shampoo, isn't it?
Fabulous, especially if you're having your hair highlighted. Yeah. And highlights can be a big thing as well, that they might over-highlight their hair coming up to the wedding, because again, panic can, throw in a few more lights. And then they're drying it out even more. And then it starts looking like a full colour, and it's just... it's not as natural looking.
You were telling me that for years.
And you finally listened to me.
But your hair is in lovely condition, because blonde hair can go very
so
dry.
Hard, but I used to get mine constantly highlighted.
And I kept telling her to stop.
I did love the dryness because my hair is so oily, so I have to wash it every day. So the more highlights I got,
You're
I might
very
get
lucky.
An extra day or two
oily
out.
With blonde hair.
Yeah, it's not really, because you have to wash it more often then.
I know, but it's in better condition.
Well, maybe, yeah. So I'm back home and singeing it and doing everything else. But I don't know how I have. I think since COVID, because none of us done anything for 2 years.
Yeah, I know.
It kind of brought it back.
I kind of went down the balayage route because
I
have no choice.
It's very natural.
Yeah.
So then would you kind of get them to put masks on their hair?
Definitely, yeah. Putting masks. We'd all put in masks once a week and working it into your routine that works for you.
Yes.
Because again, we just treat our hair so badly at times. It's literally throwing everything on it, heat, curlers, straighteners, and think it can take so much. But you need to really keep it conditioned and keep your masks in. Yeah. Rock and Oil do a fabulous one as well. They do a lovely hydrating mask, and that's a lovely one as well.
And then cutting your hair coming up to the wedding. What are you thinking around that?
Again, it'll depend on when they come for the trial. I'll be able to give them more advice as to what length we need, if we need layers in it, trying to achieve the look that they want. Yeah. I remember one girl came to me and she said I was growing my hair for the wedding. She took her hair down. Oh my good God. Her hair was down to her backside. I was like going, okay, there's a new level of growing your hair. Yeah.
No.
I said, when did you get a cut, lads? Just like 2 years ago.
But that would be in terrible condition.
I literally said, do you mind, can I cut it before I start? Because I had to cut a good few inches. So you can't do anything with hair that long.
Not at all.
Yeah. So it's just keeping it healthy. Moroccan oil itself is great for the ends of the hair as well if you're trying to let it go.
Right.
But you need to keep it in good condition if you're
And
going to let it
also,
grow.
I suppose, my hairdresser was saying that my hair's gone very dry and I need to use a heat protector. I forget.
I know. I know all those things. I know. Yeah.
I just keep forgetting because you
Maria,
kind of wash it.
I'm so impressed. You sound like you know what you're talking about. But do I know you?
I YouTubed it all last night.
I know. Who's your one, Jenny?
I've seen her salon and it's
Geez,
you could move into your salon.
listened.
The size of it.
I do listen to you sometimes.
What'd you say?
And then tell me then, so I always ask this question, how many faces can you do on a wedding day?
Oh, look, it really does depend. And I know there's a lot of makeup artists take they might only take 3 or 4, but our general amount is 6, isn't
It's
it?
max.
Yeah.
It depends again.
But
Because
often then an aunt might come in, or a 14-year-old, and it's hard to say no.
Tell me about that bit because I know, and I have been around makeup artists who would say, "Sorry, you're not actually on the list," and I'm like, bleh. No, I also get it.
Like I've time. That's what I always say. Look, it depends because every morning is different.
Yeah,
and we have a fair judge of time at this stage after all our years. But there's always one or two. Somebody might turn up later. Marie might be very slow with the hair. And she might delay me, and I have to work around that. And Jenny will come 3 hours earlier. And then I'm screwed all together.
Always. I have to keep an eye on you,
So it does depend. But I always say, look, I should have time at the end. And because when they're all getting dressed, you could easily, if it's an aunt or a mother or granny or something like that. You know.
I'm totally with you on that.
Yeah.
But there are people who just won't do it.
And look, it does put a bit more pressure on you.
Yeah.
So
pressure
is for tires.
Yeah. Because we like to help out with the extra bits as well.
Yeah, I know we do. And I look at it does. And there is mornings where 2 or 3 might show up extra and you just can't do it.
But do you know what? People kind of don't understand that does put a huge amount of pressure on you when you've got your time schedule and you know what you're doing and who you're getting into those different slots, that if an aunt or a nana comes along at the end and you're trying to do top-ups on the bridesmaids and the brides...
It is. I know it does. But to be fair, unless it's a super early wedding, like a 12 or, 12:30 or something like that, we work our times around where we're finished a good hour before we need to be finished.
I know.
Yeah. And so we always have a little bit of playtime, and if something comes up. And that's where, like, we've had loads of little dilemmas over the years. Things happen last minute. Like, we had a bride there not too long ago where we had everyone finished. The mum went down to get her dressed. And the way you scoop out the dress, put air into the dress. So the mother lifted the dress up and it hit straight off her face. So she had this lovely red lipstick mark right in the centre of her dress.
And it was a really clean
dress.
Beautiful dress. So you could just see it. It was obvious. Yeah.
So they came down to me and Marie. We were having our coffee, finished with everyone, delighted with life, right?
You were having a coffee?
Yeah. And
I love it.
So then they came down in a panic, and this is what we're good at. I think is from years' experience is not panicking at this stage.
You can't.
So I was like to Marie, Google this fast.
Yeah.
Google it. Here's Marie's like, okay, we need this. So
how did you get it out?
It's actually because it's happened to us a few times since.
Yeah.
So what it said is dampen the area first, then get washing powder. So it has to be powder, not liquid.
Mm-hmm.
But the washing powders are like green or blue. Do you know the way they're kind
Absolutely.
of... So we got it and massaged it in, but next minute the whole area went green.
Oh my God.
Right? And the red lipstick was melting out into this green spot.
Bye.
Yeah.
I was literally saying prayers.
Two of us were on our knees and everybody was looking around us waiting for... It was nearly like birthing a baby, I swear to God. It was like, what is it? What's going to happen? So then, anyway, I looked at Marie and Marie's like, I said, fine, yeah, that's grand. What does it say next? And we literally had to pour warm water through it.
Yeah.
And as you pour the warm water through it, you needed a towel under it.
Yeah.
It just dissolved through.
Yeah.
So we put a few kind of glass of water over it. Then we got the hairdryer
and dried
it off.
It was
perfect.
You sound like me, girls.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
But I do remember the first, you were with me that first time.
I'll never
Now it's
forget
happened
it.
to me a load of times, even in Italy there a few weeks ago, the same thing happened again. But I don't worry about it now because
you know it'll work.
It'll work. Yeah.
Well, I got up to, so this happens obviously all day long.
Yes.
You know,
later on the day.
I don't know how many times, only there 2 weeks ago, I was in Pulafuka House and I had to bring the bride up and basically lift up her dress and put the end of it into the sink. And what I do is warm water, I wet the area, and just if there's liquid soap, and I scrub the end of the dress. And then I get a few hair dryers and dry it. And it was perfect. You'd never know that there was anything on it, but someboody stood on it. But the amount of times that red lipstick goes on dresses, like you would not.
It is.
And actually, I'll never, and again, in Kilkenny again.
Oh my God.
The Mahers, I was doing one of their weddings because I did loads of daughters.
Did I not do that?
I think you might have.
Yeah, I think I know you're talking about. I've done 3 of them. Yeah, exactly. They're
such lovely family. They really are. God, they might even listen to this. And if you are, hello. But the groom was up at the church and somebody had given him a hug and left red lipstick on his collar. Before the bride arrived.
Oh no.
So Jenny to the rescue. I always have like a damn face cloth in my bum bag. You know my bum bag?
Yes, I do.
It's a bag of tricks.
Conniver. And I was able to get rid of it. But that happens so often.
But now, to be fair, the men are great. They'll always have a spare shirt, which is key,
because they listen to Jenny McCarthy.
Yes.
They have to have a spare shirt.
They have to have a spare shirt, And they all have nearly now, don't they? Even in the weather the last few weeks.
Yes.
It's so warm.
I mean, they need it.
They absolutely need it. And I always say to the brides as well, definitely bring another pair of shoes that are the same height as your wedding shoes, because they're going to be walking around in these shoes for the day. And
but the men have softened over the years now. Did you notice that?
So we were talking about this before we went on air. Tell us your thoughts.
So
they're more romantic.
Oh, like they're so much more romantic.
And I remember they're being told.
Yeah. Well, there was one groom who had kept a key. They travelled a good bit.
Oh, I remember this.
Do you remember this?
Yeah.
So he kept the key to every house, and it took front door a picture of every house they ever lived in around the world, around Europe, wherever they were.
Yeah.
Wow. And he done up kind of a lovely big frame pictured of all the keys and all the houses. And then the key to their forever home. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So thoughtful.
It's so thoughtful.
Oh,
I sent a picture to my husband. It's like, now this really happens. This is real life. People are really nice.
He's like, get over it. I married you years ago. But
there's loads like, I mean, you wouldn't have seen that now, say the 10 years prior. Do you know what I mean?
No, I have to be honest.
You'd be lucky they showed up sober. Do you know what I mean?
You're lucky they showed up.
Yeah.
You're so right. It's true. But they are getting much more thoughtful. I mean,
which is lovely. It's lovely to see that they can open up and they're not embarrassed about it.
Yes.
That's what I like about it.
Yeah.
Now, there was a few things I'm like, okay, that might be just a bit much now for
like
me.
What?
Go on.
We're like the old married women at now going now, yeah.
I was laughing. So there was one, God, if you remember this, I'll be mortified. But he wrote a letter to the mother to thank her for creating such a beautiful. Is that too much? I think that was too much. No? I said it out loud. I'm like, am I?
Thank you for giving.
That?
But you see, I hear all that in speeches at night time.
Okay. Yeah, we don't.
So
that's new for early morning. Now, that's coffee stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, you need a few drinks for what you hear.
Come here to me, like lads. The dad seeing his daughter for the first time.
Oh no, I'm still not able for that. I cry every time.
Do you cry?
Genuinely, I have to walk out of the room. Because sometimes, don't I? I'm just a mess for that.
Yeah.
You're too softies, you see.
I'm not able. And you think at this stage I'd get used to it.
Like honestly, and I just think it's a moment that needs to happen because it's so important, isn't it?
And I think as well, the dads, they are kind of the forgotten person on the morning, right?
And we don't forget your daddies.
No,
you just
don't
need hair and makeup done.
And
but
they're
that
polishing
is
the car for like 3 days, aren't they? And in the morning they're still polishing the cars. But actually, do you know there's one thing I just feel for men in general?
Yes.
I have boys, so I was like, this is one thing they're going to learn. Learn how to tie a tie.
Yes.
For God's sake.
Thank you. How many times do you see me doing
and
the ties?
put a ribbon on a fucking car. How many times have I put the ribbons on the car?
It's hilarious to watch them.
Yeah. Like, that's the only things they have to do. And
like, seriously.
pick out your socks.
Yeah.
Which socks are mine? Do you know?
Yeah. And don't, bring the right tie and the right belt and make sure the feckin' waistcoat fits you before you leave the shop.
Yes.
You don't want the shirt hanging out underneath the waistcoat.
Yeah, it's too long.
It's so annoying in the photos, and then you have to retouch.
I think as women we have to learn so much.
Yeah.
We have to wax.
Yeah.
We're like newborn babies.
I don't have to wax.
I was going to say something. We have to learn how to do hair, makeup, eyebrows, dress, everything. Do you know, they really can put on a pair of jeans on top. But the only skill they really need to learn is a tie.
Yes.
Isn't it?
It's so easy.
Yeah.
It's so easy.
So teach
Marie,
your sons that.
do you know how to put the ribbons on the car, Marie? Do you ever do that?
That's Yvonne's job usually.
Marie does
I'll
the
do the
bows.
bows,
Yeah.
and we do the
swap
ribbons.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do the cars.
We used to before they used to have the corset
I
once.
like mortifying the lads outside.
Yeah.
Excuse me, lads. I'll do that now.
I'll come and do I'll come and do the boy job.
Yeah.
Stand aside.
Stand aside and watch me work.
But you know,
And they've got better. Go
Or
on,
fixing
sorry.
the buttonholes as well is the big thing. You're great at fixing them.
Yeah.
But they all put them up. Will you tell them it's not where the hole is? You
it
know
is where the hole is.
No, it's under it.
No, it is
my
not.
God. Oh, no, my God. I'm actually
Oh
so
my
upset.
God! Oh my God!
We're going to have
it's
it.
over the hole.
I
You've to
can't,
cover.
No,
Yes.
Can't cope with it that high.
Oh my God!
Has
Why?
to be below it.
No,
Yeah.
you don't want to see the hole.
Bring a florist.
No.
Bring a florist.
But if you put it below the hole, Jenny, the flower will cover the hole.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I just don't want to see the hole.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
that's what I mean.
That's what I mean, yeah.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
okay. We nearly had that.
Okay, yeah.
Jesus, we were going to have a row there. I'd look like a drag queen tonight with my makeup.
I know.
But even
no.
actually for the mother of the bride, she should get it on her wrist.
On her
'Cause
wrist.
a lot of time they have the flower and it's either too heavy or
hanging.
it'll mark.
Thank you for bringing that
Yeah.
up, Marie.
Yeah.
That's such a good point.
Yeah.
And women wear them on the right because they're
Women always
always
right.
right.
Yes.
Always right. And men go on the left. But they really should get like a corsage for their
Yeah.
right arm, shouldn't
They
they?
should, yeah.
Because an awful lot of the time they've gone off and they've bought a beautiful fancy dress, and sometimes the material
And they
is
are
too
fine.
light.
It is mesh or silk
Yeah.
or,
Yeah.
it is, and it just marks it.
And
yeah.
florists, if you're listening, and please don't give out to me about this, but you know those bloody magnets, they
Yeah.
don't last.
They fall off.
Every time. So I have like my little roundy thing of pins that I get
yeah,
up in
yeah.
Fashion City
Yeah.
around the corner for me. And I always bring pins with me because I use them every single solitary wedding.
Yes.
So girls,
Yeah, you're
we're
great.
actually chatting nearly 45 minutes.
Oh my God. And I'm not finished. I've
Like-
loads. Look.
Come here. Have you any other pointers for my brides and my grooms? Come on now, Yvonne.
Yeah,
Put a
me
bit
on
of
the spot
pressure on
now.
you.
I know. No. Let me think. There was nothing else really.
I
was
think
there?
it's
Loads.
booking people for your wedding that you're comfortable with.
Yes.
Especially
Yeah.
like the wedding morning, your hair and makeup's important that hair and makeup know each other, or not necessarily
Well,
know each other,
yeah.
but get
That
on
they-
well together.
that they
It's like,
get on well.
It's like photographer and
Or
videographer.
just feel a good energy about them. Like
Yeah.
there's nothing nicer when somebody books me that either I've done somebody belong to them before or
Yeah.
there's a connection because
Yes.
they know what they're getting.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And it is so. What people forget is that energy in the morning. When you think of how many hours we're there, we
Yeah.
could be there from 6 to 2 o'clock. Do
I
you know what I
know.
mean? 6 a.m. till 2.
And it's
That's a
getting off.
long time of your morning.
Yes.
So if you have somebody with not great energy or doesn't love their job,
Yeah. Or
um,
doesn't love their job.
yeah,
Yeah.
like or just doing it for the sake of doing it, it'll show, and it you need good energy. There's times
Yeah.
I've said over the years where you might have had a really bad day, or I might have just not been feeling great, and you'd sit in the
Yes.
car before you go into the wedding, and I'd actually talk to myself, so, okay, get yourself together, Yvonne.
Yeah.
Now this is their day, they've
Yeah.
booked you, they've chosen you,
Yeah.
bring in good energy, and
Yeah.
we do, and you have to do that.
And it's infectious when you go in. Like the energy is already there in the
Yeah.
room, So when you go in,
Yeah.
it kind of like it's impossible not to pick up on it. I always find that because that happens to me too. I might have
Yeah.
had like a really long week
Yes.
in the studio with 3
And you have
babies
long
every day.
days as
Long
well.
days. And
Yeah.
I do this podcast as well.
Yes.
And then you might rock up to it and you're thinking, oh my God, I just feel tired right now. The minute I walk through that door, it's like, hi, yes.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
like, on.
You do. You have to switch it on.
Yeah.
And that's key. And so just do a little bit of research. Obviously, people book you because they like your look, and that's
Yes.
number one. You have to
Yes.
really look through their Instagram pages or their websites or whatever they, and really look at, is this for me?
Yeah.
Do you like that makeup? Is this my kind of makeup? Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes be careful. Like often I have 1 or 2 makeups there that are stunning looking girls, but everybody asks me for that.
Yeah.
And I can do that makeup on 10 different people. It will look totally different on 10
Totally
different
different.
people. So just really look at your own features as well.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on that. You know what I mean? And see what you like. Just to be more realistic, I suppose, of what we
And
can
don't
do.
sweat the small stuff.
No.
Don't sweat the small
No.
stuff. Oh, if you could only write that
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
over the place.
Don't sweat the small stuff.
It's
Just
so
enjoy.
important.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it is. It's such a great day.
It is. And when it comes to the morning, it's everything is done at that stage. Just sit back, and if little things go wrong, no one will know the difference at that
And
stage.
don't
Yeah.
tell anyone else
No.
about them.
Yeah.
They're
know?
no big deals.
No.
It's nothing we haven't seen at this stage.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
So you're both in the industry 20 years.
Yeah.
So am I. And we're
Yeah.
still around to tell
We're
the
still
tale.
around, yeah.
And we're
I keep saying I better get a proper job. When am I going to get a proper job? Like it does feel like that sometimes. Like you're going around to the most beautiful hotels. You meet
Yeah.
the nicest of people.
Yeah.
Yes, we all have bad days or
You're
an odd
surrounded by
bad
love.
experience. You
You are.
are. And
Yeah.
the happiest moment. There's times I've gone to a wedding house And people have said to me, God, you'll have a tough morning there now. They're tough.
Yes.
Or, you know, something like that. And I walk in like they're the nicest people ever. We're meeting people at their best all the time.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And it's the loveliest feeling.
Do you ever come across a bride who's narky with her mother on the morning of a wedding?
They take it out on their closest.
Yeah.
They
do,
sisters
course.
and mothers.
Yeah.
There was one wedding I done with, you were with me again. There was 6 girls in the house. And all morning they were so lovely to each other. They were all like, oh my God, do you want a cup of tea? Oh, you look fabulous. And all morning, right? And I have 2 sisters and we're very close. But like, I was thinking,
Yeah, that wouldn't happen.
no, to be very honest. And I remember saying to the mother when I was doing her up, I said, oh my God, they all get on so well.
Yeah.
Like, how did you manage that?
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't know what's going on this morning. I just don't know. She's like, I've never experienced this in my life before. She's like, but I love it. Wasn't she? Or another morning, because we have a bit of banter ourselves. I think it keeps us uplifted, you know. So I'm always waiting, slagging Marie and vice versa. So I was always obviously really on form this day. Because I was
even more so.
Yeah. I obviously hadn't seen you in a few weeks and I had a bit of a build up. And anyway, so I was slagging Marie, and then didn't one of the bridesmaids come in after to ask me, were you okay? Are you all right?
Yvonne was so mean to me.
And Marie, can I ask you, were you okay?
I managed.
I know. I felt so bad that I was like, oh, did I step over there? And then no, it's Marie. She's grand. She's
well used to at this stage.
Or another mother, I came in another day and the girls were all there, and she said, did anybody get
she
the cup?
she had gone off out and she came back in and she popped her head in.
Yeah.
And she said to the girls, she said to us, we want a cup of tea.
Yeah.
And Yvonne goes, no, I don't know what kind of daughters you were. We got no cup of tea. Yeah. She stormed. Messing. She stormed off into the kitchen.
No, but then she ran down the hall. Girls, where are you? There's no cups of tea. And I was like, I was running after. I'm only messing.
Oh my God.
It was funny.
She was in stitches when I got back.
Yeah. Oh my God.
There's just loads of stuff like that. But yeah.
But it's what keeps you going though, isn't it?
No, but you have to have that. Yeah. I think, you know.
Yeah.
And when you think about, I suppose, the amount of people that you've met over the years, like,
oh my God,
hundreds, if not thousands of people, you know?
Yeah, it is. It's mad. Yeah. It is. And that's when you go downtown in Kilkenny or Waterford or anywhere, and people just come up to you randomly.
Hi, Yvonne, and you're amazing.
They'll remember you. Yeah, they'll remember you. But for a bridesmaid, I'll have only been with them for that couple of hours.
Of course.
And you might meet them again in their civvies, you know,
and they'd
running in somewhere or something.
They look nothing like they did when you saw them last.
And oh, my head melted. Marie's a good memory for people, but I'm like, oh my God, where? Give me something.
And it's not that you don't love them, it's just that, you know, I suppose you can only keep so much in your head, you know?
It's probably the part I hate the most, not remembering their names. Yes, I do, like, it's the worst part.
But they'd understand that too, but you do feel bad. So come here, girls. We've come to the end of our podcast, but Yvonne, if anybody wants to get in touch with you, how do they get in touch with you?
So just by email is the handiest. Go on to my Instagram page, Makeup by Yvonne. You can check out my work.
Makeup by Yvonne.
Makeup by Yvonne on Instagram. Give me a follow. And just by email. Yeah. So you'll see the link there. It'll email through.
On your Instagram. Yeah. And Marie?
Yeah, the same. It's on Instagram.
Makeup by Yvonne again.
Bridal by Bridal hair by Marie.
Bridal
and it's all through email if possible. And that is, again, one of the worst parts, because people will send you so many different messages on Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to keep track of everything.
Oh, it's impossible.
If you email, at least you have that form. You can follow it through.
So, Marie, your bridal hair by Marie. That's how they get in touch with you.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we have a big night to get ready for.
Bring it on.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks, Jenny.
So great to have you on.
You too.